Have you ever wondered how to identify a true fear? And are you also wondering where the tradition comes from to decorate a tree on Christmas? Then stay tuned and meet the fear. Here we have two nice examples of fears. The one on the left is most likely Abies coreana, the fear from South Korea, and on the right side it's Abies nordmanniana, the lovely Christmas tree. Unfortunately, when filming this, the flower time of the fair is already over and we cannot see the female and the male flowers here, but I will show some pictures. Abies coreana's origin is in altitudes of 1,000 to 1,850 meters in South Korea, and they stay rather small. So they usually get up to 18 meters high. The needles are quite short compared to other fairs. One characteristic is that the Abies coreana has already cones in really young years. Usually for fairs it takes roughly 30 years until they can produce cones, and 30 years is already quite early. Some even take 60 years until they can produce cones, but the Abies coreana can already produce it when really young, and they are distributed through the whole tree, also in the lower parts of the tree, which is also quite unusual because the Abies nordmanniana and other fairs usually have their cones in the upper parts and in the crowns. Here we are in front of the Abies nordmanniana, and this is often used as a Christmas tree. It's the Caucasus fair, and this is usually present in altitudes from 900 to 2,000 meters, and it can get up to 60 meters high. Let's take a look at the bark of the fir. Here we have the Abies coreana, and you see that the bark is light gray, greenish. It's still young, and it's really, really smooth. You can see here the stem. This is also quite smooth and soft and varies in different tones of gray. And you can see the bulges of resin at the stem. For the Abies nordmanniana, you can also see the light grayish color. It's a bit more bright than the other fir, and the stem is equally smooth with the resin bulges distributed all over the stem. Old firs can also have a fish scale pattern. We don't see it here, but just that you know. Although the needle come from around the whole branch, at the branches they look parted, divided in left and right. One characteristic where you can identify the fir against other conifers is that its needles never sting. Look at these wonderful needles. They have a round shape with a notch at the end. Here also visible as well. And another characteristic which you can see at firs is on the downside of the needles these two white stoma stripes. This is where the plant breathes and exchanges gas. What you can see as well is that the base of the needles broadens up towards the stem or the branch. It looks like a tiny suction cup coming from the branch. And this is quite characteristic for firs. This broadened base of the needles looking like tiny suction cups. And when the needles fall off, they leave a clear, smooth spot. Here we can see a spot where the needles have fallen off. The fir is also a monoecic plant. That means you have male and female flowers on the same tree. Unfortunately, the flower time is already over and we cannot see it right now, but we are lucky to have a cone in reach. Here we can see the cone of the Abies coreana. This is one of the trees that produces cones already in really young age. You can see that resin is coming out of the cone. And if you have noticed by looking under the tree on the floor, fir cones sit on the top of the branch and they ripen in the first year. They dissolve during ripening, and what remains is then only these cone spindles that you can see here. Gladly we can see here some of the sheet scales that have fallen down. Let's take this one. Here you can see that one seed scale has two seeds. One here and this one is broken off. These seeds are winged, that they can fly a little bit. This is the older branch with the dark green color, and here are the shoots of this year in this light green color. Same for the Nordmanniana. Here we have this lovely dark greenish color and the shoots with this light green color, which you can use similarly to the pine shoots. But actually firs are quite sensitive to deer damage, and I would harvest the pine if you don't really need the fir because it's much more sensitive. There are roughly 40 species of firs relevant for forestry. As most conifers, firs are mostly present in the northern hemisphere. They can get over 500 years old and over 65 meters high. In Europe, we have the Abies alba, the white fir. It is present in the mountains of Middle and South Europe in heights of 700 to 1,400 meters. They are mostly located in the western and northern slopes. When growing, they start with the conical crown, and then when they get older, the crown has a more cylindrical shape. Because later the top of the tree doesn't grow anymore, but the lateral branches below still grow. So you have a widening at the crown, which is leading to this stork nest shape. When firs are young, they have a taproot, which is later transformed into a hardroot system when they get older. They are a good indicator for good air quality because they are quite sensitive to air pollution, especially to sulfur oxide. Another type of fir is the Abies procera or Abies nobilis. This is present in the Pacific West of US in heights of 1,000 to 2,000 meters. An additional fir is the Abies lasiocarpa arizonica, the Arizona fir or the cork fir, which bark can be used. And this is present in the Rocky Mountains of US. Another precious type of fir is the Abies sibirica. The needles are used to produce essential oil. The essential oil mainly comprises of monoterpenes, such as alpha and beta pinene, camphene, beta phelandrine, and limonene, or also terpenoids such as bornyl acetate. This oil is mainly used for cosmetic applications, for pharmaceutical use, and for the production of varnish. Another very precious substance produced from the fir is the oleum templini, which is made from fir cones. This is mainly used for cosmetic applications. The fir shoots are also used to produce turpentine. The essential oil of the fir and the applications of it are quite similar to those of the pine. I also made a video on that, and if you want to know more about the applications and what you can prepare at home, then please check out this video, Meet the Pine. And the famous Hildegard von Bingen said in her Physica, "The fir is more warm than cold and has many powers. It promotes bravery, and also ghosts, magic, and spells cannot come close where the fir is." Now let's check out the pagan traditions connected to the fir. In German, the fir is called Tanne. This name comes from Tann, which means fire. So this is the fire tree. The shavings can be used as a Kienspan, as a fire starter, which also smells lovely. It was one of the most holy trees for the tribe. It was one of the shaman's cosmic trees, besides others as the ash tree or the oaks or the yew. The old Germanic tribes had sacred groves where the gods lived. The trees were their temples, and the gods' essences surrounded the trees and were enriching the forest. The fir is a representation of the cosmic tree, the Weltenbaum or Yggdrasil. It's a symbol of flourishing creation, in remembrance of the cosmic creation of all being. It's also a symbol of the circle of life. If a tree dies, a new tree will grow from the seeds of the old tree, and a new cosmos is formed. The world tree, Yggdrasil, is space and time at the same time. All trees are formed as the master pattern of the tree. All trees can be holy world trees and be worshipped as such. The trees grow as a stake of the middle in the axis mundi and connects different worlds. The cosmic trees or Yggdrasil or the world tree is used by shamans to travel into the different worlds, searching for the cause of illnesses, sicknesses, or for medicine, or to seek help and advice from the gods. The Christmas tree is also a symbol of the world tree Yggdrasil, decorated with holy and magic symbols and nuts of wisdom and apples. Being always green as a symbol of eternal life, and at the same time a circle of being and passing away, beginning and ending at the same time in the world tree. Decorating the world tree was a shamanic ritual to worship the world tree. It is not by accident that trees nowadays used as Christmas trees were wholly old shamanic world trees or cosmic trees. For example, the firs, the spruces, junipers, araucarias. And this is the origin of the Christmas trees we have nowadays. It is rooted in the pagan tradition of the Germanic tribes. And this tradition has been slowly adapted over a long time. But the root is the old shamanic tradition. If you want to know more about Yggdrasil, old pagan traditions, then please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give me your thumbs up. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.